Hello everyone, my name is Vernisa.
Hey y'all, this is Jen.
And this is our podcast, Speak Up. What's up, Jen?
Hey girl.
How are you?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm good. Glad that we made it to another special episode.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, me and Jen are best friends. We create this podcast to use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect.
Yes. As you know by now, self-love and respect are always going to be super duper important to us.
Yes, I completely agree. So today, y'all, our title is Spook Up, the Halloween episode. So as you can see, you know, I'm the sun goddess.
And I'm the moon goddess.
So shout out to Jen for hooking us up, having us look, you know, nice and dandy for the episode. I can't wait to see y'all Halloween costumes.
Right. I mean, I know 2020 is a little different with Halloween and maybe all the holidays coming up. But we still wanted to have a little bit of, you know, spirit, some joy spreading around. So yeah, we wanted to dress up also for the episode.
Right. Give y'all something to look at. So Jen, what is our episode about today?
So in tune with the spooky season, Spook Up, we're going to talk about fears today, and it's fears whether they are real or imagined. So yeah, we're going to tell y'all some stories, you know, get a little bit into the horror season mood, but then also talk about like different types of fears that we may have in our lives.
Yeah, you know, we still got to add our little speak up touch to it. But yeah, we were just thinking, you know, like, let's take it a little lightly, you know, it's a lot going on, and you know, it ain't, like Jen said, it's not the normal Halloween season. Like, kids aren't going to be trick-or-treating. People are going to be going to them popping parties, well, some of y'all are. But, you know, it's like,
invite us.
Yeah, so like, we're like, let's take a little notch today. Right. So honestly, like, let's talk about some of our silly fears, those weird fears that we had growing up. So Jen, what are some of yours?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know if you can call them silly though, because some of the shit that I saw when I was younger, ain't no joke. Like, I think I'm scared of like brujeria or witchcraft. You know, I think that's a big thing that like has always terrified me. For those of you who believe, you know, y'all know what this is, but those of you who don't, it's okay. But you know, specifically like in my culture, it's very huge and everything. You know, obviously have your faith in God, but yeah, like I think I'm scared of, you know, witches, but like real life witches, like The Craft witches, if y'all have ever seen that movie. Like, that movie's freaking scary. But yeah, what about you?
Some of yours? Oh, you got deep with this one. Honestly, I think one of my like weird ones, like one of my trippy ones is like animal, like possums.
Ooh.
Possums, raccoons,
yeah,
snakes, stuff like that, like little critters. Like I think that's something that trips me out. Like I'm like jumping if I see something, and honestly, it's like, yeah, you want to scare me? Put one of those near me. You're gonna see a side of me you never seen before, and I'm probably gonna be pissed.
Oh my gosh, tell them about that story in Santa Cruz.
Oh, the raccoon one.
Yes.
Y'all ain't ready for this one. So real quick, this is when me and Jen first became like best friends or whatever, because me and her met in college. So freshman year of college, basically went to UC Santa Cruz, and for those of you that don't know, that's
shout out Slugs,
Banana Slug Gang, as you can see. No, but that school is located in the forest, like literally the forest. There's animals, and you know, I'm from LA, so it was new to me to be in that type of environment. So one day, you know, me and Jen were roommates and at the time housemates. There we had this little balcony thing in front of our apartment. So literally, like it goes to the grass. So we're all about to go do laundry. Me, Jen, and our other roommate Ruth. Shout out to Ruth.
Hey.
And I'm sitting there holding the laundry, waiting for them. And I'm texting on my phone. The whole time there's a raccoon right here, this close to my face, and I didn't even see it because I'm texting. And then out of nowhere, Jen was like, "Nene," and I looked up and it was this close to me. I went, "What the fuck?" Like a man. Like my voice never got. And I ran in the house. I locked Ruth and Jen outside, and then my homegirl Cash, shout out to Cash, she was on the phone with she was on the phone with her boyfriend at the time, Cam, rest in peace Cam, and he thought it was a guy in the house. He actually was like, "Is there a guy in there?" And she was like, "No, that was Nene," but it just showed you how deep my voice got because I was so scared. But I thank Jen every day because that raccoon could have fucked my shit up, like really could. It just took one. He was literally an inch from me. So
but that could have been the last of me though that day.
I locked him outside. Hey, the raccoons in Santa Cruz is vicious.
No, yeah, if y'all have seen those raccoons, they ain't playing. They got their little families and everything too. Like I can't. Yeah, I'll never forget that either. Yeah, that was definitely an experience to remember. I think that was the first time I realized I don't really like wild critters. Like, you know, deers are cute, but remember when we saw the mountain lion too? Like,
we saw some Jimmy. Hey, this is how I know Jen a real one, because we were, like I said, we were like building our relationship as best friends, and we were walking home from the library late at night in the forest. The school was scary as fuck, and it was late at night, and we see a raccoon, a mountain lion, just hop across the street, and I said, "Run!" And we just turned. I had heels on, a loud sound. We jumped the wall. Jen
I
was
had
with
tap
it.
shoes, like.
Jim was with it though, and I was like, "That's my best friend." And when I said run, she out. Like, she didn't even ask no questions like the movies or what's that. No, she was like, "Gone with me."
Yeah, we like Shaggy and Scooby over here. You know, like when she runs, I run. I'm like, I'm trusting her instincts too. Like I can't. Yeah, Santa Cruz had some memories, man. But yeah, I mean, as silly as these fears may seem, like you don't really think about that being your fear until you're put face to face with it. You know, like I would have never said, yeah, I don't like mountain lions or I'm scared of them. But when I actually saw it, how close, it was like what, like not even 10 feet away or something, and that was scary. So. Yeah, definitely not an experience I'd want to have ever again. Oh my goodness, those are definitely some memories. You know, but like with fears, you know, especially fears like that, like I wonder if sometimes it's just based off of like what we think they could do to us, you know, like us giving them that power or whatever. Because yeah, don't get me wrong, a freaking raccoon can claw your face and stuff. That's a legitimate fear also. But then I think it's like in that moment, you know, you were like paralyzed and like just survival mode kicked in, you know, and it was like, I'm going, you know, I'm gonna run and everything, which I don't blame you, you know, but I just think about like, what if you weren't scared of that raccoon, you know, like would it have just like gotten closer to you, you know, obviously I'm glad we didn't find out.
Yeah, me too. It was this close to my face.
Yeah. You know, but it's just a thought, you know, silly thought that I was thinking. But yeah, like, you know, like I said, even though those are silly, they're still real. And even like with more, I guess, quote unquote, serious fears with like the brujeria and stuff, like I've had experiences where, you know, there's a person in my family, well, she's not even family, but like she's related by law, whatever. She practices like witchcraft and stuff, and you know, I just remember walking into her house and she had like all these black candles, she had like a shrine, she had like some jewelry on the shrine, there were pictures above it and everything. It was just like scary, you know, it was eerie. And me being young, I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old, maybe 7. I just remember walking in and being scared. You know, back then I didn't understand energy and all that stuff. Like I didn't know how any of that worked, but I just remember being scared of being in her house. And like after I would come home from her house, my brother and I would always have like weird experiences in our apartments, because this particular person, like she's not very fond of us. You know, she's tried like damaging us in different ways. But yeah, like I'll never forget one time, this is probably one of the scariest experiences I've had. For y'all who don't know, I used to live like in a haunted apartment when I was younger, and I swear the whole building was haunted because some of my neighbors, like the kids, we would get together and talk about our experiences in our apartments. But in our, like the one that I lived in particular, there was one night, my brother and I used to share a room, so he was already sleeping in his bed, and I was in my bed. You know, it takes me a lot longer to fall asleep and stuff, so I like have to think and all this stuff. So as I was thinking, I could have sworn someone, my stepdad I could have sworn my stepdad had turned on the light in the hallway to go to the bathroom. Like I swear I saw the light turn on, and we used to have a bathroom switch for the light that used to make noise, so whenever you turned it on it would click. So I heard the click and I was like, okay, that's weird, you know, but then I heard it like clicking back and forth as if like someone was messing with the light switch, and I was like, why is my stepdad messing with the light switch? Like that's so freaking weird, you know. But it just kept going and I was like, okay, is the light not working or something, whatever, you know. So I get out of bed and I check in the hallway. Nini, I kid you not, there was nobody there. Like nobody was in the bathroom, nobody was playing with the light switch, nothing. The hallway light was on, obviously, but like nobody was there. And my parents' room was right next door, so I checked into my parents' room. My stepdad was sound asleep, yo. And like I remember that was one of the first times I was really scared of something like that, like of possible witchcraft or whatever. Like I don't know what went on that night, you know, but after that, like weird things just started happening. Also real quick, like I used to have this Bratz doll that was like battery operated. It was like the ones that stand on the tables and stuff, and like the head moves, you know, the eyes move, whatever. And my dad had given me one, and you know, I loved it and everything, but it ran out of batteries, so I just took the batteries out. Mind you, this doll had no batteries, whatever, but it still stood like on my dresser. So my mom told me that one day she dropped us off at school, and she was home and she was like fixing her hair, looking in the mirror and stuff, and the doll turns on its own, and it's like, you know, hi there, whatever. Yeah, you know, and she's like, oh my gosh, you know, like she got scared. So, you know, she like turned it around, it turned off, whatever, and all this stuff. So she picked us up, and the first thing she tells me when I get in the car, she's like, how many times have I told you to turn off that doll? Like, it scared me when I was putting on my makeup today. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, that stupid big-eyed doll that, like, you know, blinks and like talks and stuff. And I was like, my Bratz doll? I was like, Mom, that doll doesn't have batteries. Like, it shouldn't work, you know. And she said that was the first time she got scared like that, because she realized like there's something going on in this apartment, you know. And yeah, I think after that I threw all my dolls away, because like I kept having nightmares about them and everything. So yeah, it was a really scary experience. But yeah, I think those are my fears of like the unseen, you know, like ghosts and witchcraft. I think those are more of my fears versus like, you know, critters and stuff.
And honestly, that's why you keep your spirit right. You stay prayed up. That's all I gotta say about that.
Really though.
And I think too, like a lot of you know, we were saying about like what makes us scared of these fears, like what do we think something's gonna do to us? We could talk about movies too. It's like I feel like as a kid watching a lot of scary movies, it like makes you more scared of certain things. Like honestly, like okay, I think the scary movie that fucked me up, like some of the ones that fucked me up was Freddy Krueger and Chucky. Oof. My aunt, so she used to put me and my cousin Riri in the room like when we were little, because we wouldn't go to sleep, and she'll just turn Chucky on and like leave us in the room and watch it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that would actually put us to sleep. But like I'm still to this day like I be like iffy watching Chucky, like you know his little voice and stuff, and then Freddy, like it made me scared to go to sleep. I feel like those were the movies for me that like. And then I'm one of those people, I don't like, you know, Jen knows, I don't like to watch like ghost movies, like something like you said, like that fear or something, you know, because that's something that's like kind of possible. So it's like I don't want to, you know what I mean? So those are the movies that like kind of mess with me. But for sure, Chucky and Freddy, I feel like too when you're shown those movies as a child, that shit follows you. Like my dad, for example, he's scared of clowns, so it's like. Don't put It too. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It, yeah, the original. Yeah, no, like we ain't dealing with that
scary.
either. What's some of your scary movies? But yeah, go ahead and tell the crowd.
You know, I think as a kid, yeah, definitely Friday the 13th. That movie messed me up. I remember the first time I watched it, I was at a babysitter's house with my brother, and she had a 2-story condo. So I wanted to use the restroom so badly, but like, you know, everything was dark or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go use the restroom. But her top floor restroom was not working, so I would have to go down the stairs to go use the bathroom. So I just remember getting to the top of the stairs, and I know it was my imagination, don't make fun of me, but I could have sworn I saw Jason waiting for me at the end of those stairs. I was like, nope, I'm good. I held my pee till my mom picked me up.
You were like, I ain't dealing with that.
I couldn't go. But I think like older now, Sinister, I don't know if any of y'all have seen that movie. Great movie. Ethan Hawke did his shit in that movie, and also whoever played whatever the scary dude's name was. But that movie, I've seen it like 7 times, but it messes me up all the time. Like I think the music score was really good for that movie. The effects were bomb, and then also the storyline of it, like just knowing that it's a cycle of like, you know, families you know, getting hurt in this house or whatever. I won't spoil it for people, but it is a really scary movie, and it's more like, you know, nowadays. I think it came out in like 2013. So for those of you who haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. But yeah, that movie scared me because it's like you said, you know, something that can possibly happen. It's like a haunted house, but not really by a ghost type of thing. It's more like a demonic entity type of thing. And those scare me, like those types of movies. Like Insidious is one that I'm like, it's a really good movie, but I can't watch it for too many times.
Yeah, and they really put in some thought into the movies. It's like when I watch the scary movies, I have to watch it with somebody, and I always try to breathe before the big noise happens, because it's like I'm scared of breathing while the big boom happens, because like I'm like, what's gonna happen to me if that happens?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, y'all watch out with them scary movies. But you know, honestly, they need to bring good scary movies back, because like I feel like I get bored. As much as a scary cat as I am, I get bored if a movie isn't that scary. Like it takes a lot for me to be scared, but if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But when I'm scared, I'm scared. And it's like, okay, it's gonna take me a little bit to go to sleep here. Honestly, too, like, I want to talk about too, like a time I faced a fear of mine. I know, as I just said before, I'm scared of like certain critters, certain animals. So snakes is one of them. And I remember one time I was in Hollywood, and this guy was, you know, he had big ass snake. I forgot what kind of snake it was, but it was huge, and it was something like wraps around you or whatever. And then he was like, you know, charging to take pictures with it. And I don't know, something came in me. It was like, hold the snake and take a picture with it. And I did it, and you know, I still got the picture, but I was happy. I like held the snake, and you know, that snake could have did anything, but I was like, no, I'm gonna be a badass right now and take a picture holding this snake, even though I was a little scared like what's about to happen. But you know what? I was proud of myself for that.
Oof, yeah, I give you props. I don't know if I could do it, like, you know, but I mean, that's awesome. Like, facing your fears just in general, like saying, screw it, I'm gonna do it, like 1, 2, 3, go, you know. I don't know if I've ever faced a physical fear like that. None really comes to mind, but you know, I think for me, like the fears that I do have, like about the ghosts and the witchcraft and stuff like that, I mean, it's hard not to face it when you're living, you know, in a place that's probably by that, I don't know. I'm a scaredy cat in that sense. Like, you know, as much as I like horror movies and all that stuff, like, yeah, I don't watch them by myself and all that. And it takes a lot to scare me also, but like, yeah, I don't think I ever have physically put myself to face a fear like that.
I remember when it's out of like a haunted house, like the ones that they throw, like people put together.
Yeah, definitely those, but never like.
I'm acting like I've probably never been in one with you.
I know, right?
True. Yeah. I think it's crazy too, like how like when you go like to Universal or Not Scary Farm, and it's like they're dressed up as people you see in the movies, and you know it's a person, like you know, a regular person, but it's funny how you're still mind fucked. Like you, like when I forgot I had that on. You see. So what I want to say, like you're at this theme park, but it's like you're still gonna run if they do something to you or they like make a noise or something. Yeah. I'm like, it just shows you how real that fear could be, especially from those movies.
I mean, they say mind over matter, right? Mind is the most powerful thing. So yeah, like if your brain is scared, then you know you gonna be running. Like that's gonna be my instinct. Like, you know, I'm out. You know, just yeah. Oh
Should people be in there fighting? I heard that.
Bruh, I don't blame them.
And honestly, like, with your fears, learn to laugh at yourself. Like, you know, we got those ones, and sometimes you do just have to laugh. Like, so I had to laugh at that raccoon situation. I'm like, whatever. Like, it is what it is. A raccoon made my voice deep, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've jumped a few times at, like, movies and, you know, just when I've been scared in real life and stuff. And, yeah, you just got to learn to laugh at the experiences and be like, dang, like, I went through that, you know.
And you know I'm a scary cat, because when me and Jen got these, I was looking at my phone and Jen put the hand, I jumped. But this scared the fuck out of me, seeing this little bony finger coming at my phone. So I'm like,
These are fun, y'all.
Y'all know those are tongs, right?
I know, right? Whip up some salad with the bony ass heads.
I heard that.
You know, like high five.
I'm trying to reach over to see if that's possible. Okay, we petty. We can cut the recordings off.
Clearly, we having too much fun with our little props here. But yeah, like, you know, speaking of like mind fears and everything, like, even though it can be in your head and a lot of like, you know, the jumps you may have and stuff, they're very real, you know, and they control like a lot of what you do or don't do. Like if you know you're scared of clowns, you know you're probably gonna avoid that area. You know, if you know you're scared of raccoons, you know you gonna like be on the lookout, especially if you go back to Santa Cruz. Like it's funny how we start to shape like our actions around our fears and stuff like that. And then yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, I recognize I'm scared of this, but I'm gonna go for it anyway, you know. So I just think it's interesting, like you could either have the growth or the fixed mindset for fears as well, and I think that determines whether you let something control your life or not, you know.
Yeah, and like now it's time to go into speak up mode, you know, like yeah, that goes with our life battles that we're facing. You know, we have fears within the real world that we're going through, but it's like, what are we doing about that fear? Are we letting our fears control our life? Like one of them is, you know, the fear of failure. It's like, what are you doing to prevent that failure from happening? Is it a healthy fear filter? You know, I feel like some fears are healthy in that aspect, like when it is it's a fear of something bad happening, so you're just trying to prevent it in the most healthiest way. But then we have those fears that, like you said, control us so much to where like it stunts our growth, you know. Like you have people who are like, okay, sometimes a person could be scared of a person's opinion, you know, and it's like I feel like when you're fearing people's opinions, you're not going to live your best life because you're always like, okay, what are people going to think about me if I launch this new brand, if I do this? So I feel like that's a time when it's like, it's time to reevaluate those certain fields and it's affecting your work ethic.
No, that's very true. I mean, you know, I think it's safe to say a lot of people have a fear of failure, which is very legitimate. Like, even I fear failure, but I think I just fear failure to myself, you know, like knowing that I could do more, or that I just completely stopped on something because, you know, I found ways that didn't work for me, and then I'm like, screw it, like I'm stuck here, you know, I'm just gonna fold my hands for it. Like, I think that's my biggest fear out of everything, rather than like, okay, I found out a way that didn't work, okay, I try again and I fail again, you know. Like, I'd rather just continue doing that and changing my paths rather than just saying fuck it, like I'm just gonna sit back. Like, I don't know, I couldn't personally do that, but it's very real still. Like, you know, I think it's something to really think about, because if you've ever stopped like a project or working on a goal or something, you got to ask yourself, like, why did I stop? Is it because I'm scared, you know, or is it because I'm scared of what's gonna happen on the other side? What if, and you know, there's also that of like fear of, okay, what if I don't fail? Like, fear of change, you know, like even if it is good change, there is that fear of like, dang, things are gonna be different, you know, even though I know it's for the better, even though I know deep down I want it, it's scary.
We even got that fear of like you said, if you want to start a clothing brand or a mixtape, whatever, fear that it's not going to do well, you know. And I think too that's something that will stun us, you know, because it's like we're living in fear in those aspects. It can really deter our lives, you know. And we can even get deeper, like with relationships, fear of abandonment, fear of commitment. I think too when your fear of abandonment is real, because it's like from past trauma. I think when you're bringing that fear of abandonment to other relationships, that's what causes you to like be that people pleaser, that person trying to seek validation because you think it's you, so you're trying so hard to like keep that person around because you're scared of being alone or scared of them leaving you because of one little thing. And it's like, I think those fears we need to reevaluate, because I've been through that too, like, you know, a fear of somebody, of being alone, fear of like like what someone's gonna think of me, or I'm not gonna be good enough. And it's like sometimes we have to like re-pour that love back into ourselves so we're not wearing that on our sleeve.
That's true. And I think on the other side of that too is like fear of commitment. Like, I know I had a fear of commitment for the longest time, even subconsciously. Like, I didn't even know I've always known I want monogamous relationship, whatever, but like I didn't realize how deep my fear of commitment was till I sat down with myself and was like, dang, like, you know, if it's fight or flight, I tend to flight. You know, I tend to I think Drake has this, you know, song lyric that was like, I leave a relationship before I get left in it, you know. And I think for the longest time I had that mentality subconsciously, where it's like, you know, well, I'm getting bored, so I'm gonna go, you know, or like we're fighting too much, this is too hard, I'm gonna go. Or even like, you know, I'm scared to settle down with this person and be with this person for the rest of my life. Don't get me wrong, the people that I dated and we didn't work out or whatever, like, you know, we got through our bad shit, whatever, you know, I don't wish bad upon anybody. We weren't meant for each other, obviously, but I think it's something that I had to learn about myself too, that like I really had that fear of commitment, of just settling down with somebody and then like, dang, is this gonna be the rest of my life with this person, you know? Like I said, we weren't meant for each other at all, which is cool, nothing wrong with that, you live and you learn. But yeah, that fear of commitment is very real too.
And there's different layers of it. I think there's the way you're talking about, and then we have that way where it's like sometimes people feel like they're not worth that commitment, you know. So it's like, well, let me run from it before, because if I do commit, it's not going to go well anyway. And I think that's where that like the negative self-talk becomes. But there's, like I said, there's different layers of the fear of commitment. But yeah, I feel like we've all been victims of one of those layers somewhere, somehow. And I think too, and I think it's common in like the generation we're growing up in right now, because you be real, look at the music, like all music now is like F that album out, I ain't committing, like, and it's like we're all being told that we're all gonna think like that. But I feel like deep down a lot of us really do just want love and want something real, but it's like we don't know how to, because I feel like you don't know if you're gonna meet somebody who has that hard ass attitude. Then you got people who who do want to love and already, but they're scared to trust because it's like what they've been through, and I think it's just a repeating cycle. You know, another one that falls into it is like that fear of betrayal. You know, I feel like if you've been hurt already, you're gonna be scared to put all your eggs in one basket or whatever because you've been fucked over before, you know, or you're gonna be doing everything to make sure they're not betraying you, like constantly checking their phone, not trusting them, like those trust issues. And it's like fears are real, like we can really bring them into our reality with just our mind. And I think that's like the scariest part about it because, like you said, it starts to control your life.
Yeah, because then you start to create scenarios that may not even be there. You know, you're what we talk about all the time, like bleeding on other people, where because this last relationship, you know, this person hurt me, or I had to constantly check their phone or whatever. Now I'm bringing that into this new relationship. Like, there's so many things that, you know, we subconsciously do because of having that fear of betrayal. But it's very legitimate. Like, I think all of us, you know, even deep down have that, maybe not even fear, but it's like, I don't want that to happen, you know, and nobody wants to be betrayed. Like, I think betrayal is one of the dirtiest things you can do to somebody. If you'd rather just not be with the person, you know, just tell them straight up, or you're getting bored, or you're even confused. Like, if you're even doubting, you know, how you feel for that person, or if you can be loyal anymore, like, sit down and talk to that person. Let them know, like, how you're feeling. You know, obviously everybody has a different approach to communication and do what works best for you, but I think it should be voiced before it's too late, because nobody deserves to be cheated on, you know, led along the way or whatever. And also, I want to put this out there real quick. If you're the one doing the cheating with somebody who is in a relationship, you are a scumbag also, because you should not be involved in somebody's, you know, relationship when it's falling apart. You are a homewrecker. I'm sorry, I'm very against cheating. Like, if you have an open relationship, that's a completely different thing. But if you know that this person is cheating on their partner and you're involved with that, like, that is so low. Like, I'm sorry, that is my personal opinion. But I just find that so disgusting. Like, my home got broken because of, you know, somebody cheating, and it's just not the best thing. So I just had to put that out there, because that is one of the biggest forms of betrayal that you can have towards somebody.
Because it makes both parties guilty, you know. And also too, like, if you're the one who has been betrayed or whatever, honestly, you know, I feel like when that happens to you, don't take it personal. I feel like, no, it's not you, you know, because I feel like it's the other person's actions. And it's like, when that happens, you know, okay, know your worth enough to know, okay, this person betrayed me, I need to move forward, you know. You learn how to forgive, but not forget, but move forward, you know, because I feel like when someone already betrays us, I feel like they can do it again. And I feel like we don't need to waste our time. You know, if someone already showed you they can be dirty and little sick, I feel like people could change, but I feel like, you know, you have to be able to pour love back into yourself first, you know. Honestly too, I want to talk about ways to control your fears, you know, how to not let your fears control you. I'm sorry, it's differently. I think for me to start off, I think one of the ways is, honestly, figure out what your fears are. You know, which are real fears, by the way, like not the silly ones. I think those are childhood ones, but, you know, these fears we just were talking about, you know, figure out what they are, like in relationships, in life. It could be with your ambition, family, love, romantic relationships, friendships. What are your fears? What are things holding you back? And then after you figure that out, get to the core of it. You know, why am I afraid of this? You know, what is causing me to be? Because I feel like too, sometimes with romantic relationships, you might not even have a fear, and then when you give it a person, it starts coming from insecurities, and it's like, okay, well, what caused that insecurity? And I think when you dig deep in yourself, you're able to understand yourself a little better, and then attack whatever fear that is. And that way, it's not controlling your life because you know where it's stemming from.
That's very true. And I think one of the best ways to not let it control you is to face them head on. You know, would you rather, like, have that fear of betrayal, so you just not gonna be with nobody, you know, forever alone, whatever, which is cool, you know, for those of you who have pledged to be single forever, hey, more power to you, you know, nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying, for those who refuse to be with anybody because they're scared to get too close, you know, or because they've been betrayed before, it's legitimate, but work on that fear first. Work on, you know, letting that go, or like Bernice said, getting to the root of it, but then also learning to face it. Like, if you genuinely know you eventually want a solid relationship, you want something that's really good for you, take a dive, into a good relationship, but then also talk about those fears with your partner and, whomever you're entering in a relationship with, because that's the only way to really get that out there. And that way they know too where you're coming from, and then everybody has fears of some sort, in any new relationship or anything. So, that'll give them the chance also to open up about any fears they may have. So communicating it, but then also facing it head on.
I like that. And then with the fear of failure, just know that failure is a part of the road to success. If you ain't failing, you ain't finna succeed. I feel like, I've been. It's funny because this message has been coming in my face a lot, coming around me a lot. Is like, stop striving to be perfect. I've been hearing that a lot lately, especially this week. And it's like, when we're aiming at that, always trying to be perfect, of course that's going to discourage us when we do slip up or whatever. So it's like, I feel like that's another way to cope with failure and to cope with other fears that you have, accepting it. When you accept, it's so much easier. It won't hurt you because you know exactly what it is.
That's very true. We don't have like the fix it all situation or, scenario, whatever, solutions to like facing those fears head on. Even we're still learning how to face these fears, and it's just a matter of taking it step by step and realizing like, okay, maybe this isn't going to work for me, but I'm going to go approach it from this way. Everybody's going to find out something that works for them. But I think one of the biggest ways to cope with fears is to know that it never stops. You're always going to be afraid of something, or as you meet people, you're going to realize, dang, I didn't know I had this fear in this relationship, or when you get a new job or you start a new entrepreneurial path or whatever you decide to do financially, like you may discover a new fear regarding to money as well, but it's something that if you had never taken a chance for it, you would never know about it. So just taking that step and recognizing, okay, this is scary, it's new, I'm going to take it slow, but I'm going to do it. And just figuring it out, I'm still figuring it out.
And honestly too, like, it's nothing wrong with having a mentor, because those are people who had those fears before but conquered them. Like, ask them, how did they do that? Like, even if it's romantic, people do go to counseling, or if you have a friend that's in a really good romantic relationship, talk to them about how did they cope with stuff that they're going through, how do they keep it together, friendships, healthy friendships. There's people out there that have those same fears or never had those fears and just know how to handle whatever it is that's coming at them. There's ways to cope with it and learn, and I think, it's okay to just be a student and learn, like, that's what I think.
Life is your biggest teacher, right? So just take the people along with it as well. And I think also learn to have fun. Like, life can be scary, whether it's real fears, silly fears, childhood fears, etc. At the end of the day, learn to have fun, because as hard as life can get, as scary as life can get, there's also so many beautiful moments. There's so many fun moments you can laugh with. Like, Renisa and I have been laughing so much this weekend, and we always laugh, but we've learned to have fun with those fears. Like, after that whole mountain lion incident, like, we had a huge laugh about it, after like saying, oh, our feet didn't hurt enough to run, right? Yeah, and jump over fences and stuff, yeah, and tap shoes, but like, obviously in that moment we weren't laughing, but afterwards we learned to laugh. And then just having that fun, like, knowing fear is a part of life, but if you never take those risks, or you never face them head on, then you're always just going to let it control you. So if you learn to look at it with a little bit of humor, everything gets better.
Yeah, and like, when you let that fear control you, that's where it starts your growth. And it's like, you don't want to look back and it's like, damn, I could have did this, I could have that, but I was scared or I was worried about this. Yeah. It's like, go through that challenge, challenge yourself, don't be afraid of challenges. Honestly, challenges, that is where the growth is, I learned that. Like, I think it's something amazing about that. Like, how we gonna grow if we ain't be a challenge, and I think it's beautiful when you get to certain accomplishments and you're a better evolved person as you go. And honestly, I feel like all this relates to self-love, because you're allowing yourself to thrive. You're getting out of your comfort zone, you're stretching yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, nothing ever happens in the comfort zone. Everything, like, I heard somebody say this, that all your dreams, all your success is on the other side of fear. So I think I've been keeping that close to heart, because as scared as I may be on a new adventure that I'm taking, or a new goal, a new path, whatever, I have to remind myself what I really want is outside of that fear. You know, so I'm going to toss it around and spin it like with this little tong and salads and stuff, but face those fears head on. But in all seriousness, you know, just knowing that, our fears are only as powerful as we let them be.
That part.
And yes, they're real. Yes, it's okay to have them, but sometimes, you got to use that adrenaline from that fear and just know that it's not going to control the rest of your life unless you let it.
Yeah, well said. You know how Jen always got to put the cherry on the top at the end. I love it. But thank you guys all for tapping in. We hope you guys have a safe Halloween. Don't forget to check out our Podbean website at speakupjv.podbean.com. Check us out on Instagram at SpeakUpJV. Also, email us if you want us to rock your brand, shout your brand out. You want to send us an intro drop, email us at speakupjv@gmail.com. We're also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, and well, we appreciate all the support. We have some content coming for y'all very, very, very soon. Some big announcements, so please stay tuned. We appreciate every stream, every download, every comment. Y'all are the best, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video, and share this with a friend who wants to hear some self-love. All it takes is one episode, right?
That's
to start
right.
that journey.
Yeah, you guys don't understand how much your support and love really means to us, how much it helps our show a lot, actually. Like every action that you guys take towards our account, towards our videos, our episodes, you know, on our websites, like all of that really helps. And then also we love collaborating with people. We love spreading that love as well. You know, there's enough for all of us in this community. So we really appreciate all of you who have taken a listen, have been listening to us from the very beginning. And if you just joined us, like Renisa said, all it takes is one episode, and I promise you will not be disappointed. So please share these episodes with your friends. You know, if you feel like somebody may need some Halloween spirit, please send them this episode as well. We would love to just make them laugh, you know, or give them something to talk about or whatever, even if y'all gotta say how corny our costumes are, you know.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Take care.
Love y'all. Bye.